Walt Disney's Disneyland.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
Each week as you enter this timeless land, one of these many worlds will open to you. Fantasyland, the happiest kingdom of them all. Tomorrowland, promise of things to come. Adventureland, the wonder world of nature's own realm. Frontierland, tall tales and true from the legendary past. Presenting this week from Frontierland, 4 fabulous characters. And now, your host, Walt Disney.
For this program, we have selected 4 stories which have something in common. Each deals with a colorful period in America's past. And the heroes in these stories are all, in their particular way, fabulous characters. This group of 4 subjects includes an early American frontier hero, the most fabulous failure in the history of sports, America's most famous family feud, and the legend of a railroad engineer who won his fame back at the turn of the century. To introduce our railroad hero, we will now take you to Jerkwater Junction and our authority on the subject, Jerry Jerk Throttle Colonna.
Too bad, too bad. The romance of the railroad, gone forever. 456 from the north. Oh, nothing but routine and red tape. Oh, comfort and convenience. Look at that engineer. Fancy Dan. That's the trouble. No excitement in today's railroading. No heroes, no tradition, no smoke, no steam, no soot, no nothing. 502 from the east. 502 from the west. Eeny, meeny, miny. Oh. Like I was saying, it's all routine. Now, if you want romance, you've got to go back to the good old days. Back to the old dime novels of the 1890s. That's more like it. Fred Pierpont, the dauntless engineer. Now there's a brave lad. He sees a fair damsel in distress, and like a shot, he's off to the rescue. Pour on the steam, man. Pour it on. Egad, why should he rescue her? Oh, well, Fred Pierpont is no fool. Maybe your old man owns the railroad. Down, girl, down. And heroines really suffered in those dear, dead dime novel days. But virtue always triumphed, and the brave engineer got his reward. Sorry. These were the good old days. The dime novels made heroes out of the railroad engineer. But our fabulous engineer was more than a dime novel character. He actually lived. He was born near the town of Casey, Kentucky. So his name, John Luther Jones, was quickly shortened to Casey Jones. His story is told in the familiar old ballad, The Brave Engineer.
'Tis morning, and all the trains in the railroad yard are fast asleep.
All except Casey's. His engine is slow asleep. Hey. Good morning, Casey.
Come all you rounders if you want to hear a story all about a brave engineer. Casey Jones was the rounder's name. On a high right wheeler he won his fame.
Stories of brave men, noble and grand, belong to the life of a railroad man.
Casey Jones, is he gonna make it?
If that's Casey and the Rhode Island Rooster, then cock-a-doodle-doo.
Jones, well, he knew his duty and he finally went west with the Western Man.
Next time, take the train.
Our next bit of Americana deals with a number of fabulous characters. Two entire families, one from Kentucky and the other from West Virginia, who took part in a famous feud during the last half of the 19th century. The scene of this old feud was a land of dense forests and rushing streams where hunting and fishing were the chief occupations. The small amount of farming consisted mostly of raising corn, which usually found its way into the stills. Some believe the trouble started during the Civil War, when the two families faced one another in battle. Others claim the quarrel started over a scrawny, half-wild razorback pig. When the porker was fully grown and ready for butchering, both families claimed it, and a violent quarrel resulted. But the most generally accepted theory is that all the shooting started because of a romance. But whatever the cause, the conflict raged for many years with heavy losses to both sides. And it became the longest and most famous feud in the nation's history. Even today, the old feud is still remembered in a well-known ballad, The Martins and the Coys.
Gather round me, children, and I'll tell a story of the mountains in the days when guns was law. When two families got disputing, it was bound to end in shooting. So just listen and I'll tell you what I saw. When they meet
Every darn time.
they could shoot each other quicker than it took your eye to flicker. They could knock a squirrel's eye out at 90 feet. All their fighting started one bright Sunday morning. I remember, 'cause old Grandpa Coy was full of Mountain Dew. Just as quiet as a church mouse, he stole in the Martins' hen house. 'Cause the Coys, they needed eggs for breakfast too. After that they started out to fight in earnest, and they scarred the mountain up with shot and shell. There was uncles, brothers, cousins, why they bumped them off by dozens. Just how many bit the dust is hard to tell.
Oh, the Martins and the Coys, they were reckless about him, boys. At the art of a killing, they became quite deft.
Mighty deft.
They all know
They shouldn't do it, but before they hardly knew it, on each side they only had one person left. Only one person left. sole remaining Martin was a maiden, and as pretty as a picture was this Grace. While the one surviving boy was the handsome Henry Coy, and the folks all knew they'd soon meet face to face.
After her, Henry. Go get him, boy.
Knock him off, Macy.
Whoa! Shoot that Coy.
So they finally met upon a mountain pathway, and Henry Coy, he aimed his gun at Grace.
Right at Grace.
He was set to pull the trigger when he saw her pretty figure.
You could see that love had kicked him in the face.
The Martins and the Coys, they were reckless mountain boys, but they say their ghostly cussing gives you chills.
'Cause the hatchet sure was buried when sweet Grace and Henry married. It broke up the Fester feud in these here hills.
It's stuff good.
Come on, everybody, let's dance. Well done, y'all, not for all, but down whooping call. Dozy-do, little more dough, taking and been picking out dough, brand new dog, by no tell no, lost the teeth a long time ago. I swing your partner, woohoo, and promenade the hall. Same old road, same old play, watch that monkey walk and rave. Now bust couple out to the right. Go around that couple and take a seat. Come back in the center and shake your feet. Round that couple and peek once more. Back in the center and circle four. Swing your button and call your hound. Right foot up, left foot down, bottom foot make a hole in the ground. Now you're tall with a smile. What's my hand and go home wild? Hey, home to it. Yes, sir. Leave it this.
Now you may think that this is where the story ended, but I'm telling you, them ghosts don't cuss no more. Cause since Grace and Henry wedded, they fight worse than all the rest did, and they carry on the feud just like before.
Our next fabulous character is from the world of sports, a product of our great national game, baseball. From its earliest days, baseball has produced an endless parade of heroes, great stars whose names have become legend. Nap LaJoie, Hans Wagner, Christy Mathewson, Walter Johnson, Iron Man Lou Gehrig, Tris Speaker, Ty Cobb, and of course, the incomparable Babe Ruth. The opening of the baseball season is virtually a national holiday. Ballparks are jammed by rabid fans who come to cheer their heroes and to thrill to the umpire's call, fabulous baseball character was no hero. Quite to the contrary. He was baseball's most spectacular failure, the famous Casey at the bat.
Oh, what a lark to ride out to the park, and just to see Casey. They travel for miles and they stand in the aisles, and just to see Casey. The ladies don't understand baseball a bit. They don't know a strike from a foul or a hit. But when they see Casey, that game has got it. They see the pride of them all.
The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville Nine that day. The score was 4-2, with but one inning left to play. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out.
A legion of mighty men have left symbols of their greatness on the pages of American folklore. There was Paul Bunyan's axe, John Henry's hammer, Davy Crockett's rifle. Then we come to a tin pot hat, a bag of apple seeds, and a holy book. These symbols represent John Chapman, who is known in folklore legend as Johnny Appleseed. Johnny is a special favorite of mine, for during his time and in the same region, my great-grandparents were pioneers themselves. They moved west from New York in the early 1800s to settle in Ohio, which was considered the West in those days. And it is very likely they traveled some of the same trails as Johnny Appleseed.
I wake up every day as happy as can be, because I know that with his care my apple trees, they will still be there. Oh, the Lord is good to me.
You think we had most all we please, but we ain't. We're kind of short on apple trees.
Well, I swan. I didn't know. What are we waiting for? Come on, let's go.
We're wasting time. Let's get it going. Get them apple trees a-growing. There's a lot of work up there to do. Oh, there's a lot of work to do. Well, sir, now you know the reason why. Whenever I see that sartin sky, I think of little John. 'Cause it's like I said, if you recall, them clouds ain't really clouds at all. They're apple blossoms, if you please, from John's heavenly orchard of apple trees.